NextGen Economy Podcast, Accelerating Breakthroughs.
This podcast is brought to you by EXO Economy, transforming the world economy for a better future.
Hello. It is beautiful to see you and to be here together today. Heidi in the metaverse, Rachel. What a dream.
I love it how it's coming through. We decided to go with it. This is actually the same background, but because of the glitch in the matrix,
Matrix.
Now we have Rachel coming to us from multiple dimensions.
Pretty standard, really. So hello, I'm Rachel. I'm your host today. I'm super excited to be connecting with you, obviously Heidi right now, and then also with everybody in this room, sharing, everybody beyond the room, after the room. This message needs to be said and it needs to be heard. And Heidi, you have so much to say, and you know, little promo. I do too. So I'm so excited to be creating this together, to be creating spaces where people can come together as part of Island 17 to do great things and ultimately heal the world. Because if we're not healing the world, we're kind of destroying it, at least the way that things are right now. So, you know, let's switch things up a bit, at least in my book.
All right.
So, without further ado, I'm Rachel, and I like to sometimes slur my words, but I'm also an executive coach and a fierce empowerment mentor for women and for people who want to explore and share their truth in new ways. I'm passionate about embodiment, mind, body, soul, spirit, heart, and really living with love, truth, and integrity. And my own journey to get to this beautiful metaverse room today has taken me on some very interesting twists and turns, which I'm very happy to share at a later date, and I'm sure I will. But for now, the focus of this time and this interview is Heidi, a wonderful woman that I had the pleasure of connecting with through a beautiful, trusted community. And honestly, very quickly fell in love with. I fell in love with Heidi's heart and the way that she deeply cares about giving back to the world, and particularly her children, and not only her own children, but really making a difference for the next generation and the generations after. And this is a personal passion of mine, despite the fact that I don't yet have children, because I feel that we in the here and now have a tremendous responsibility to do whatever we can to shift things in a positive way, because what we have is now. I mean, and if we don't, things will just either continue on as they are or get progressively worse. And, you know, pandemics, climate disasters, political unrest, it's not looking that pretty. I think it's time for something radical. So that's what I'm here to do and say and stand for and really embody. You know, I practice what I preach, and that's sometimes not very pretty. And that's also what I'm here to discover and champion and support in and with others. So when I met Heidi, I was like, this is a dream team. It's called Dreamtank, for God's sake. So it's perfect.
And Rachel,
and then here we are.
And it was so blew me away. And that you are, 24, and that you have accomplished everything that you have accomplished, and who you are, and everything you just said is really the, in a way, is something to look up to for a lot of other young people to see what another person close to their age can accomplish and do with radical transformation and action, and looking at, growing and gaining skills to create the new world.
It's an interesting topic as a quote unquote young person. I think it can be powerful, actually, but yeah.
But we look at it as a
anyway.
We look at it as a strength at Dreamtank.
And I
the younger we actually look at like you're wiser.
I hear you and I love you and I appreciate that. Thank you. Like, we're all learning the And that's the beauty of coming together and kind of putting down some of our guards and divisions, and realizing that we're a lot more similar than we are different. And actually, there's so much that we can learn from anyone and everyone, regardless of who they are or who they might seem to be. And it's actually by getting past those judgments, we end up feeling a lot better about ourselves and our lives. So,
and when you asked, you wanted to interview me, I was a little reticent because I really want voices like yours to be out front. That's what I'm about. But I said, yes, fine. If you'd like me to, I'm here. So I'll answer any of your questions. But I really do think I'm learning more from all of you young people than you're learning from me. So,
full disclaimer to anybody who is watching this, this was actually my idea. I was the one who slightly pushed Heidi gently into this with a lot of love. You know, it wasn't forced by any means, but because there is, back to there is so much that we can learn from one another. I think it's really important to be able to own who you are and where you've come from, and for people to be able to understand Island 17 and the vision and the mission and kind of connect the dots, you know, for you as a leader, but also for everybody else who's part of the ecosystem. It's so important that your voice is heard. And your kids are great, your team are great, I'm great, we're all great. And you can take up space too. So yeah, this is my little celebration of you as a human being, because that's what I have to give. I want to empower people to be able to take up space, particularly women who may, you know, not necessarily feel comfortable with that kind of role, who have been busy playing other roles in their lives, roles that are entirely legitimate, but also your role and your responsibilities are first and foremost to yourself and who you are, just as you, not by doing anything. That is so important as well. So
thank you. Thank you for the space to come and just be myself. I'm really excited.
I'd love to start by asking a really open question, if you're ready, which is simply, who are you?
I'm joy and laughter and the freedom and joy of being alive and the joy of expressing a person's authentic truth. And I've sought to do that myself my whole life, breaking walls, breaking down walls, breaking rules. Since I was little, I just always saw the world a different way, and I wanted to create it. And what I was paying attention to when I did all of the work, personal development work, growth over the years, looking back, when people ask me that, who are you? I see the thread that goes throughout my life, through business, through art, through technology, through investing. I got my street level MBA in New York City, doing a consumer products company. I really look back, and I had about 10 years of business skills training that I could apply for social impact. And what I learned was the thread between all those things was joy and love and laughter and connection. And every single time throughout my journey of impact investing, I've been doing this for 18 years. Whenever I would sit down with someone, it really just came down to, it didn't matter if that person could write a $10 check or they could write millions of dollar check or $1 billion check if I was in a development role, or if didn't matter what size their portfolio was when I was at UBS, although there were minimums imposed on me from the company, and I didn't like it because I wanted to work with everyone. It's a very inclusive person, but that's the thread that has brought me here, is that innocence and that joy I see in somebody's eyes when they're doing the thing they're here for. Whether it's whatever it brings them joy, and whatever it is that they're doing in the world when they're truly authentically them, that is witnessing that and helping ignite that and bringing joy and laughter into people's lives around their mission and purpose is who I am. People with like several $1 million and up, and ultra high net worth is about 30 million and up in assets. And so people were really looking to invest. And I was on a panel talking about impact investing and money and meaning. And the panelist, the moderator asked a question that I was not prepared for. She did not prep us for. She wanted to surprise us with. And she asked, if you had 1 year left to live, what would you do? And I was sitting there, God,
big question.
that
Oof,
really,
wow. On a
and
stage.
and my business with the, women and millennials was really taking off at the time. I thought that was my mission, money, meaning, bringing more feminine to the financial markets, which I'm doing now through this. It's just in a different way. And I thought I was on my mission, and that floored me. And it just, something cracked open in that minute. And I thought it was like, it was my whole lifetime in 1 minute of all of these questions that came to me. And what came to me was, one, spend as much time with my kids, as possible. Number two, do something so radical and so big that would leap humanity forward that you wouldn't care at all what people think, because you're going to die in a year, So who cares if I look crazy? The legacy will show it, right? 2, 3, do something that would inspire that action, and zero in on what that thing would be. And what came to me was, oh my goodness, we need the best imaginations on the planet if we're going to leap humanity forward. I looked at the Sustainable Development Goals as moonshots, each one: no poverty, no hunger. I thought of lots of movies and things where people went on superhero missions to go solve some crazy big problem facing humanity. And I thought, well, when they're doing those missions, many of those have some young genius on the team, right? And it's usually the young genius who comes up with the solution. Almost every movie, right? And it also is backed up by science that children are actually more geniuses than adults, and they have better imagination. And then it hit me, oh my goodness, the people with the best ideas on the planet are stuck in the schools, and nobody's asking them for their ideas. And if we listen to their ideas and we create a platform, then maybe that'll inspire all of us to believe the impossible is possible, and our own inner child awakens, and it'll inspire all of us to break down our walls and leap forward and bring our whole universe and our whole mountain moving networks, money, time, time, money, and talent to support these kids for the next generation. They are floundering. Now I'm going to be a little sobering. They're depressed. Kids under 18, mostly, they're scared. All this socioeconomic situation going on. They're shoved back in the schools. I know schools are trying to do their best. They don't have these frameworks yet. But they're bored. They feel like school is more irrelevant than ever because they're still teaching old curriculum, and they're not addressing or really acknowledging how the world's changed in a systemic way. Now, I want to honor teachers, professors, educators, everyone who's been trying so hard to leap forward and serve these students. And all I'm saying is, let's do it together through a framework, because that has been now tested for 6 years and has really been proven to inspire, motivate, and ignite and create change. Changing laws we've done. There's been so many incredible things that have happened with young people, that these are on fire, these young people. They are not depressed at all during COVID. The ones that worked on projects during COVID with us, and others that came back to me and said, I found a project to do something for my community or for my family, for my grandparents, they're happy right now, and they don't feel depressed. And so this combats so many different issues for young people: mental health, depression, suicide, obesity, addiction, just so many things, bullying, right? All those things come from not having. Now, I'm not saying this is a solution outside of really important, urgent, professional mental health support, but I just don't think it's widely available enough and destigmatized enough for young people to really access it yet fully. So this is our way of really getting in the hands of as many people on the planet, and as many young people on the planet, who can have in their pocket an AI type Yoda mentor, a digital wallet where they can make money by going on missions, a digital identity that will give them an identity, which will also help with human trafficking in some of the most remote areas and the most trafficked and desperate areas. And they will get badges for every single thing they do, and they can win points and make money by just playing this game. These play to earn games. It's amazing how the technology really has met the times and the consciousness of these digital natives. So I went on a little tangent here when I said what happened, but a lot of this stuff went through my head. And what I said in that moment was, I would start a think tank for kids to listen to their ideas on how to solve the world's problems. And that was what I said. And the universe was organizing from that point forward, because everything that wasn't on the path to that crashed and burned in my life. Everything. All the things I was working on that were huge, major millennial, conferences, summits, like everything. And it was do this experiment in the summer of 2016. Call Ashley Kulik. She and I started, helped start a previous youth program, an outdoor education program that's now flourishing in Boulder called the Kiva Center. And she was one of the first people that saw the genius in children and saw the genius in my children. And so she was 25 at the time, and she had gone to a social impact school. She had studied education, college, and she also saw the genius of kids and nature. So I called her and said, let's do this experiment of a 1-week accelerator program to launch kids' dreams and change the world with tech and entrepreneurship. She said, let's do it. So the rest is history.
I love it. I'm sure that following on from that, people will love to hear a bit more about some of what's happened in between. What are some of the tangible outcomes that have been achieved in the last 6 years as a result of these amazing accelerator programs? And then, how are you taking it forward with Island 17?
Well, some of the tangible results, I will say, is pretty profound. And I know we could have had more, and we will when we scale. But really, the 6 years were a series of, I would say, paid prototypes, self-funded prototypes by different members of each of the community here in Boulder and globally. So we engaged the Boulder tech community, Boulder venture capital community, Boulder social impact community, natural food, all the different kind of sectors that could potentially help. And we would have people, like parents could sign up for this, these programs, and they would pay, but if they needed a scholarship, we would find a way, because we wanted it to be as accessible and diverse as possible, but we also needed to pay for each prototype. So over 6 years, we did 5-day sprint summer camp accelerators with pitch events at the end. And we did 8-week after school programs, 12-week after school programs. We did weekend workshops. We did an online hackathon that went on for 3 months. We've done collective impact summits. Really, we've done so many different types of programs with different challenges and data sets built in. So here's the framework. The framework that we've been using is Dream, Design, Launch. And the overarching thing that is always there is mindfulness, mental health, deep connection to oneself, each other, and the planet, and collaboration. And play and fun, those elements are always in every single program. So we've done things like doing a space settlement design challenge at NOAA here in Boulder, which is a federal institution, with projecting on a sphere what would happen to the planet, the data set of climate, if we don't do anything, or looking at a data projection from scientists and from NASA, what would happen if we didn't do anything, and what would happen if we did do something. And that would inspire their ideas. And then they created a space settlement where they had to have all these problems solved, all the sustainable development goals solved. And then they used those ideas to go create a future city out of Boulder. And in this one, we had the mayor of Boulder coming and hearing the best ideas. And a lot of the kids actually wanted to ban single-use plastic and styrofoam because they said, Mayor, we don't see a future city having these things. We did research. This doesn't make any sense. And she said, well, you're going to have to change a law at the state level if you want to do that. So the next accelerator, we had state representatives, we had advocacy groups, we had lobbying groups, and the group of young people together with a state representative we did problem solving workshops. So we evolved the concept of lobbying into problem solving, so nobody's polarized. And then we organized with other groups, youth groups, a youth lobby day, and we advocated for that. And actually some elements of it were passed even during COVID. This was right before COVID. But that's only one of 3 laws that young people have helped change in the state of Colorado. We've had 2 Dreamtank, Dreammaker alumni who were in 7th grade when they started, who graduated from college a year early, both to pursue incredibly innovative and powerful careers and going to really good schools and pursuing business ideas. One of them I'd love to call out is fantastic. And she is creating during COVID a sunscreen that actually regenerates the coral reef. And we'll talk more about that later.
Wow. Yes.
Yes, very exciting.
If folks watching this go away remembering one thing about our interview together, what would you like that to be?
You are beautiful. You're beautiful. You're meaningful. And if you feel something, we want you to feel loved, appreciated, and seen. We want to invite you to join us for this journey, because whoever you are, if you feel lit up like this, it's a clue. It's a clue for you, a breadcrumb, I like to call it. You breadcrumb to follow. So join us, get involved. You can contribute anything you have to give. We will find a way to value you deeply. So if you're lit up, come play with us. That's my one thing.